going to go over your Interpreting X-linked traits pedigree notes. I went ahead and filled all this in, so if you want to write this down, this will go in your notebook. But as you're writing it down, I'll go along and explain what's going on here, and you'll be able to rewatch the video as many times as you need to. So, turn that way a little bit. I know that X capital N is a normal person. I mean, whatever normal is, right? And then X lowercase n is red-green color blindness. So if they're shaded in, they have this X lowercase n, and that means they're colorblind. Now remember, males are XY, females are XX. So everywhere you have a square circle, seriously? Everywhere you have a square, you can put XY, just to start off with. And everywhere you have a circle, you could put XX. So that would be one way to get started. And then to figure out who needs what alleles, you can kind of look at your information. This is shaded in, so they have the trait. That would be X lowercase n Y. So a male that has an X-linked trait would only have it on 1X because he only gets 1X. A female, if she's normal, she's going to have 1X that is a capital N. The other one is kind of unknown. The reason I knew to put X lowercase n here is because she has children that are colorblind. For example, her son here, he had to get his only X from her, because he has to get a Y from his father, or he's not a he, then he's a she. So he got the Y from his father, he had to get an X from his mother, and that happened to be a colorblind X. So I know that she now must be X capital N, X lowercase n, because even though she doesn't have the trait, she did pass it on to her son and to her daughter. These are all normal. With the males, it's pretty easy. If they're normal, they're X capital N Y. There's no other way they can be. With a female, again, I have to look at the generation behind her and the generation after her to kind of figure that out. So this one, I know she's X capital N because she herself is not colorblind. Since she had two sons here, they are both colorblind, and so I know they had to get that X from her, because again, they had to get Y from dad, or he's not a he, then he's a she. So the X lowercase n had to come from mom. Also, her dad, number 3's dad, was X lowercase n Y. He was, in other words, colorblind. So she had to inherit one of her X's from her dad, or again, she wouldn't be a she would be a he. So X lowercase n, I knew already that she had to have gotten that from her dad, but also her children kind of confirm it. So these are both normal. Again, X capital N Y, that's easy. This female, X capital N, X lowercase n, because again, she also got the X lowercase n from her dad, and then she had a son who was X lowercase who got that from her, because he got his Y from his dad. Here we have an effective female, so that's easy. She has to have both X lowercase n and X lowercase n in order for her to express the colorblind trait. This is an unaffected male, so he's X capital N Y. An effective male is X lowercase n Y. They only have one X, so if they're not affected, it's capital. If they're affected, it's lowercase. So these two are affected, so we know they're X lowercase n Y. She is unaffected, so I know she's X capital N, but she also has a mom that is affected and a brother, so that tells me that she's X lowercase n. This would be called a carrier. So she herself doesn't have the trait, but she can pass it on to offspring. He is easy, X lowercase n Y, because he only gets one X and he's affected. This lady here, she is X capital N because she's not affected, but she also had to inherit an X from her colorblind mother, And so that's where I got the X lowercase n. So those were the genotypes here, and the phenotypes, the ones that are shaded in would be colorblind. So number 1, number 7, number 9, 10, and 11, and then number 13 would be colorblind. Okay, the next page of your notes here, I've filled that in for you as well. Let me move this. Sorry about all the clicking. This is also a colorblind pedigree and wants to know, is this dominant or recessive? The reason I figured out this was recessive is because this individual right here, he is colorblind, but neither one of his parents are. If it were a dominant trait, one of his parents would have to have it. He can't get a dominant trait without his parents having it. So that's how I know this is recessive. It cannot be dominant. And then the next question is the mother of the colorblind girl in F3 generation colorblind, a carrier, or a person with normal vision. So the girl in F3 is this little lady right here. She is affected, and it's asking about her mother. So her mother is that lady there. So her mother, in order to have children that are colorblind, she has to be a carrier. Like, not only for her daughter, but for her son, she's the only one that's giving her son an X allele. So he's affected. That means she has to have the recessive gene. The daughter got an X from dad, and then she also had to get another X from mom. She is X lowercase n, and so her mother must be a carrier. She doesn't have it, but she can pass it on to her offspring. So in order for her children to be colorblind, she must be a carrier. So you have a couple of pages that go along with these notes that are your worksheets. They're sideways. One says sex-linked pedigree worksheet, and the other one is just the second page to that. And that was what you need to do for your assignment. Also, let's see, your amoeba sisters. So make sure you get all that done. Have a wonderful afternoon or evening or wherever you're at in time.